This is Deb's Made This. Welcome.
Right, hello, I'm Debs and this is my Cosecha Pants review. The Cosecha Pants are a Sewliberated pattern.
This is a pattern that was released at the start of February and I bought it straight away, despite me saying that I didn't need to buy any more patterns. But there you go. So what I thought I'd do is round up some details about it that Sewliberated have shared, my first make and my plan for my next make. Right, so there are two versions of this pattern. View A, which is the one I made, which is a narrow leg and slanted yoke. And you can do optional top stitching. It has a side zip, which is supposed to be on the left side. Mine is on the right side. And back pockets, which are also slanted. So they have a really kind of nice shape to them. The second view, view B, has, instead of the tapered leg, has a wide leg and has an elasticated back waistband and a fitted front waistband and deep patch pockets. So they say you can basically use quite a lot of fabrics, but they suggest if you're using a heavier weight, like a heavier weight twill or denim, that you do version A, the narrowed leg ones. And if you're going to make the wide ones with the elastic back, but you stick to a lighter weight, so they say a maximum of 7.9 ounce, which is the Ventana twill weight, which they say is ideal for this. So that would be a really nice kind of really functional make as it gets a bit drier. I have made a narrowed leg trouser this time around because it's so wet and because it's about to snow. And I just think that, you know, functionally, although I love a wide leg trouser and I really want to make another pair of Mitchells and the wide leg version of these, a narrow leg trouser is really practical when the weather is wet and you just want something that you can do everything you need to do in. Sewliberated, when they launched this pattern, really wanted it to be like that. They wanted it to be a utility trouser, a trouser you could put your shoes on in, that you could chase your toddler in, that you could climb your trees in, that you could, you know, whatever floats your boat, which is kind of perfect for me, really. A lot of the things on my list that are not getting sewn at the moment are the more dressy kind of occasion wear or blazers and stuff. So actually this is much more what I need in my wardrobe. The pattern comes in size 0 to 34. I'm trying to peek so I can see my writing straight in front of me. And 0 is a waist of 24 with a hip of 35.5 inch. And 34 is a waist of 52.5 and a hip of 61 inch. And they also give thigh and calf measurements for both versions and the rise, which is obviously really helpful when you're trying to work out whether something's going to do the job for you or not. They obviously advise you to make a toile, and I did make a toile. I made a short toile. I couldn't quite decide if I needed to take some height out of the rise or not. When I looked at the pattern pieces, I couldn't quite work out how I was going to do it, so I just made it as it was in the hope that everything was going to be okay. I will insert some pictures or a twill of me wearing my kashikas because I have them on today with a Rowan bodysuit hack, I think. I don't think this is a Rowan neck. I think I've stolen it from something else, maybe an Agnes. I think it's a bit deeper, but this is old. This is a modal jersey from So from years ago, I think. But it works really nicely with this. It works really nicely with a button down or with a shirt with a vest over the top of it. Yeah, I think you can pair it with nearly anything. I will put in a picture of what my top stitching looked like before I removed it all. So I set up the bernina, I set up the top stitching thread, and I sailed through this and then decided that I didn't like the top stitching at all and took it all out, which took much longer than doing it, to be honest with you. So this pattern comes together beautifully. Everything is very clearly labelled. It's a really nice pattern. I have no hesitation in recommending it to you at all. The instructions are really clear and very kind of capable in the way that they approach things, so you can skip past things if you know things already, but I really like their approach to those things. So what I'll do is I'm going to take these off and put something else on so that I can show you what I did with the inside. Right, so these are mine. They're made in a purple, like brushed twill, which is a really nice colour. It's like a kind of deep grape colour, which I got from somebody's D-stash not very long ago. Actually, it's not been in my stash very long. In fact, it didn't even make it from this cupboard, which is like just about to be made or just bought, to the upstairs cupboard of stash. So yes, didn't really make it into stash at all. You can see the angled yoke both on the front and the back of those. Hoping you're going to be able to see those. And so the pockets, including the coin pocket, you can mix and match. On the side, there's a zip and a button fastening. and hold those still, sorry. And as I said, that should be on the left side they have it, but actually it's fine, it's fine. I have a label which said I'm probably thinking about sewing, probably, which I think was a Kylie one from last year, and my insides are finished with Liberty. So I had Liberty scraps, so this is, I think this is Betsy, I think. So I've done the inside of my pockets and my waistband. That was all I did. I didn't edge the fly because I didn't have very much. I literally had scraps of that left. So I made a dress. I made the Hawthorn dress by Colette when I first started sewing. So at least 7 or 8 years ago. And I've actually gave that away when I lost loads of weight when I was running. Probably would fit me again now, actually. But I just like literally had a little bit left. And I thought it matched really beautifully with the purple. So the other thing that I was a bit concerned about is the amount of bulk that I would have with inside and outside this fairly chunky twill and things like the belt loops and the fly and things. I think if facings are made in a more lightweight fabric, it's much easier. And so the mistake I made was to, I cut it the same with the fabric the right side up instead of the fabric the right side down for the facing. So I realised what I'd done, fortunately, and I had, and I could cut the other one the same way, the wrong way as well. I just had to kind of keep in my head that it was right side. But actually, because I'm like, I don't have a lot of twist in my lower part of my back, it's a bit grumpy at the minute. So actually trying to do up a zip on the left hand side is quite hard, and actually doing a zip on the right hand side is sometimes a bit easier, I think, maybe. So I might keep that accidental adjustment. Have that really nice chunky loop at the back that your belt goes in. She reminds you to measure your favourite belt to make sure it works. I've been wearing these with they're a bit mucky actually because they've been worn quite a lot, with the hem turned up on itself to make like a little turn up, but obviously we'll go back down again. I'm 5'5.5" and I didn't make any leg adjustment to this, but most of my limited height is in my legs. So I had no issues making it and had no issues following the instructions. Apart from that thing of my own making. So I don't think there's any problems with this, and I have a plan for another pair. What I would like to do though is to shorten the rise. So you might see from my pictures, although I'm quite high-waisted, the proportions of this are not quite right for me. I reckon I need to lose about 1.5 centimetres or 2 centimetres in the rise, and it's going to be tricky to know because obviously you need some rise adjustment. You need to be able to move, and basically they say when you're doing your fitting, if you're pinching out 1 centimetre above the crotch, then that's fine because you need that to be able to kind of bend and do all the things you need to be able to do. Now I've got a bit more and they just feel like they're sitting really high on me, which is fine. It means that they tend to then sit looser because they come down a little bit, so they sit a bit looser through the crotch seam, which is fine. But I think this next pair I might try and adjust that. So because the pieces have that angled yoke seam across the front, and then you have a wider seam allowance down to the base of the zip, but on both sides, and then a narrower seam allowance. So you have an inch seam allowance to just below the yoke seam, and then it goes down to 5/8 of an inch like it is everywhere else. It's very clear in the instructions, and it just gives you a bit more of a wriggle room. But because there's that change, I couldn't quite work out how I was going to adjust the pattern pieces so that I lost the height in the rise but kept the proportions of everything else. So I emailed them, and the lovely lady emailed me with a reply. So I have an answer. So look at this is really cool. So I would have never have thought to do a staggered line to do my fit adjustment on. So you can see if I took that line straight across, I'll put some overhead images if you can't see that, but if I took that line straight across, it would change the whole way that the yoke worked. And if I came across this way, then you kind of the scoop of the crotch curve. If I came across this way, then the scoop of the crotch curve would be altered. So she reckons that doing it like this is the way to preserve the feature. How cool is that? I'll have to try that and give it a go, and I'll let you know how I get on. So I thought I'd share my fabric to make my next pair with, which is this. Now, I don't know if I've got enough. I'm hoping I've got enough. So this is a Ruby Star Society. I think it's a Melody Miller. I might be wrong. And it's just glorious. I think it came from So Hot UK who are do both dressmaking and quilting, but often have a really good supply of Ruby Star, and I think I pre-ordered it after deciding which one, and I think it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. So it was either, well, the plan was for it to be a pair of landers or a pair of dungarees, but I think it can cope with being this quite well. I'm just slightly wobbly about whether, like I say, whether I'm going to get enough out of it and whether I'm going to spoil it by having those yoke seam lines. If you've got strong thoughts about that, can you ping me down below? I did think about trying to get a matching, this is like a deep green background, and I thought about trying to get a matching colour, but I think I'm going to really struggle to get a matching colour for that. The other thing that I thought was, if it's when it's made up, it's exactly the same teal that's in this as is my light and duster, so that would be quite nice. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do my facings in something else, and so I've got this. So I'm cheating because this is a Melody Miller by Ruby Star as well, and so the colours, the tones of the colours are exactly the same. So the pink is very much of the pink. I don't know whether it'll show on screen that the colours are very good, but they are very good. Yeah, so that's the plan. Is I think I've got about 3 meters of this, but it's only narrow, and so I was kind of umming and ahhing about what to do with it. So my thought at the moment is I'm going to make a shirt, and I'm going to use the other bits for the kashika, but I might do it the other way around and make the kashikas first of all, and then see what I've got less and help that decide whether I'm going to make something that's short sleeved or long sleeved, or whether I think I can get something else out of it. So I think that's me. So the version that I've tried, which is view A, I think is super. I'm keen to try view B, but I am going to do, my floral is going to be the view A again, I think. So comment down below for me. Have you made the kashikas, or are you thinking about making them? Are they your jam or not? What do you think about my fabric pairing and choice, and how do you think I'm going to get on with my adjustments? I hope this has been helpful. Big thumbs up from me. Really nice pattern. I can't wait to make my next pair. And I think that'll do. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are finding time to rest and replenish and enjoy in your making, if that's what brings you joy. Bye bye for now.